We are live on DSTV, channel 421, GoTV 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. This is Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Caloni. Coming up, shocking and shambolic. Tonight, opposition NPP blast special prosecutor Kisi Ejabane over latest wanted notice for former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, citing his failure to appear for questioning. We'll bring you details shortly. And President John Mahama assures his administration is actively tackling inflation and addressing other critical economic challenges to establish a stable foundation for growth.
Look at our debt management department and strengthen it so that it's able to provide information to the public on what our debt trajectory is and keep it being below a certain ceiling.
Details, as he says, the government is prioritizing the stabilization of Ghana's economy as a key pillar for sustainable development. Also, be fair to us, that's the cry of pupils and teachers in northern Ghana, begging the government to fix their collapsing schools. They come with hope, eager to learn, but the walls around them are falling apart, just like the system meant to shape their future.
Here, shit and urinate all over, even on the tables.
We have more in our latest series, Crumbling Stars. Now, the opposition NPP has strongly opposed the special prosecutor's release of a wanted person notice for former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, describing the move as shambolic and shocking. The Office of the Special Prosecutor on its official Facebook page noted that this action stems from his failure to appear for questioning regarding multiple corruption-related investigations. This comes on the heels of an earlier explanation from Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers that he was seeking medical care abroad. So what are the details stated as reason for Mr. Ofori-Atta's to be declared wanted? There you have the reasons on your screen. You see up there, wanted, and you see the picture of Ken Ofori-Atta, Office of the Special Prosecutor. The name of the person wanted is Kenneth Nana Yao Ofori-Atta, and date of birth, 7th November 1958. He is 66 years old, and he's a male, eye color black, hair color black, distinguishing marks not applicable, complexion brown skin, possible location United States of America or United Kingdom. Now let's look at the reasons this suspect is wanted to answer charges in respect of several cases, including strategic mobilization, GRA contract, termination of ECG BXC contract, National Cathedral payment, ambulance procurement contract, and tax refund account utilization. And you see down there, it says that anyone with information on the whereabouts of this individual should alert the office by calling or sending a WhatsApp message to the numbers you see there. Now, earlier, some details were provided on his medical status. Let's take a look at that particular, details which have also been provided. And it reads, "Hello, dear sir or madam. Mr. Kenneth Nana Yao Ofori-Atta has been seen and evaluated at Mayo Clinic in Rochester. His medical condition necessitates that he will stay and follow up on his appointment and undergoing further testing and management, including possible surgical intervention in March of 2025. Please contact me with any further questions." So that's the reason given. However, national organizer of the NPP, Henry Nana Boakye, has been speaking to my colleague, Blessed Soga, on Top Story on this development. He questioned the rationale behind the OSP's actions.
I am particularly humbled as to why the OSP is still engaging in this drama and this sensational act of going nowhere. I mean, how can you declare a person who is not under arrest or who has not been arrested on any suspicion, any grounds whatsoever of any crime, or has he been charged with a particular offense? How? And just like the respected person you just spoke to, look, even if Mr. Ofori-Atta should appear before you, he has rights enshrined in the Constitution to be mute, to keep quiet, not to answer even a question from you. He has that right. It's enshrined in the Constitution. So even if you call them, even a person should appear before you and he decides not to talk, so what do? If you have enough evidence, proceed to court. If you have evidence that is prosecutorial enough, go to court. I read it, and it says that anybody with information or his whereabouts should alert the office of the special prosecutor. And I'm like, this is laughable.
Now, Odem Senano is co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption and is of the view the OSP has taken the action because it seeks clarity on the whereabouts of the former finance minister. And
I don't think that the correspondence so far has been definite on that. And I think that what we should recognize is that any law-abiding citizen of the country, when invited by a security agency for questioning, ought to demonstrate the willingness to do so. If you're not available immediately, you ought to be providing specifics. So say in 2 weeks, in 1 month, and obviously the entity would then ask you for further and better particulars. Where then if you're in a medical facility, the medical facility should be able to say, look, we are doing tests for the next 2 weeks. After that, if the prognosis is good, we release him, he comes back. If not, we'll go into surgery for another 2 weeks. We estimate that maximum in 6 weeks, he should be able to come back. That kind of specificity, I'm sure, would reassure any security agency that in good faith, this individual has a commitment to coming back and answering the necessary questions. So far, that has not happened. When Mr. Ofori-Atta responded and said he was unavailable indefinitely, I think that is what began to trigger this downhill situation. You can't tell a security agency. In fact, I don't think that any citizen would dare give that kind of response ordinarily, that you are indefinitely unavailable. And then going on, yes, there's a medical report or letter, but that again did not have the specifics that someone who says, I need you to engage with you and to reassure them. And matters was made worse when they then accused the OSP of raiding the house. I think that between him and his lawyers, they should give a definite sense of when he will be available, because every citizen must be willing to provide themselves, make themselves available.
Now, away from the OSP, President John Dramani Mahama has reasserted the government's commitment to stabilizing Ghana's economy as a foundation for sustainable progress. Speaking at the Africa Business Forum 2025 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, he said his government is focused on stabilizing the cedi, tackling inflation and addressing other critical economic issues.
Since the first thing you do is to focus on stabilizing, and so that's what we're focused on. Bringing interest rates down, bringing inflation down, stabilizing the currency, dealing with the debt overhang, and that's where our focus is for now. But at the same time, to analyze the factors that got Ghana into this place in the first place, and put in the steps that ensure that we don't end up here again. And so that would entail looking at the Fiscal Responsibility Act and strengthening it, looking at the Public Financial Management Act and strengthening it so that tomorrow we don't have a situation where a minister, goes onto the Eurobond market and borrows 11.5 billion over 5 years and puts most of it into consumption. Those are some of the things we need to look at. We need to look at our debt management department and strengthen it so that it's able to provide information to the public on what our debt trajectory is and keep it being below a certain ceiling. We need to introduce an independent value for money office so that we're making sure that our projects are coming in at the right value and at the right cost. We need to make sure that we cut out waste, reduce corruption. Those are all things that have to be dealt with.
The forum, organized by the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, centered on the theme, moving from potential to prosperity, activating Africa's regional value chain. President Mahama stressed the urgent need for African countries to add value to their raw materials, stressing that such efforts would also create employment opportunities.
The same with cocoa. We've exported cocoa beans for God knows how many years, and still we export cocoa beans. There's some processing capacity, it's about 30%. We have the capacity to process almost 500,000 tons of cocoa, but we're not processing that much. We're processing at about 200,000 tons because the cocoa board that needs to be extracted believes that it gets immediate foreign exchange when the beans are traded. And we sell forward, and so they get the money in advance before we even export one bean. But bringing the value addition home will be bringing jobs back so that our young people can get jobs to do, especially putting that processing in the areas where the cocoa is grown. And that's why we're excited about the initiative between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, because together we produce about 80% of the world's cocoa. And so if we coordinate and work together, not only in terms of improving production, but also in terms of processing and bringing processing up to that chocolate, that last chocolate home, will create more jobs for our young people, because we all recognize that with a growing youth population, yes, it's an advantage for Africa, but if we're not creating opportunities for these young people, then it becomes a ticking time bomb. And so we need to look at all those areas.
Now, he also pointed out that despite the African Continental Free Trade Area progress made so far, significant trade barriers still exist. He called for the removal of these barriers through the establishment of trade corridors and other measures.
Area we need to concentrate on. Yes, it's good we have the African Continental Free Trade Area, but there are obstacles to trading amongst ourselves, and that is because the trade facilitation infrastructure is not available. Roads that lead between our countries are nothing to write home about. We don't have the rail transportation. We don't have the ports. We need expanded ports that are faster, handle goods in a faster way. And that's why I think that we must focus on what we call the trade corridors. In West Africa, we have the Abidjan-Lagos corridor. We don't have an expressway between the four countries that constitute, the five countries that constitute the corridor. There's been a lot of work on it from when I was vice president. We signed the initial MOU. I think we've made some progress. It's now left with looking for the financing to put the expressway in so that we can move goods from Lagos to Abidjan through Benin, Togo, and Ghana, and be able to trade easily amongst ourselves. I know there are more other corridors that exist, Lobito, Durban to Lubumbashi, and all that. How can we improve these corridors, improve the infrastructure, so that we can seamlessly exchange goods and services amongst ourselves? I think that's what's important. The African Continental Free Trade Area was a very important breakthrough. We've been working on this for God knows how many years, and we're happy that we have it at last. But how do we remove the obstacles to trade amongst ourselves? I think this is one issue that we should be looking at.
Meanwhile, President John Dramani Mahama was welcomed back by the Vice President following his working visit to Germany, where he participated in the Munich Security Conference, and Ethiopia, where he took part in the AU Summit. Let's now focus our attention on education because they come with hope, eager to learn, but the walls around them are falling apart, just like the system meant to shape their future. In many schools across the 5 regions of the North, pupils sit on blocks or even the bare ground to acquire knowledge. In some schools, just 2 teachers shoulder the burden of educating pupils from kindergarten to basic 6. Joy News' latest series, Crumbling Start, produced by Emmanuel Givano, uncovers the disturbing reality of basic education in northern Ghana. Here are excerpts.
For pupils of Sambonjida DA Basic School, having a teacher is a privilege.
This man here.
2 trained teachers shoulder the responsibility of educating pupils from kindergarten to basic 6. Volunteers like Thomas, a senior high school graduate, step in to assist, but the results are troubling.
So I'm coming here to teaching ABCD, to describe yourself, to the 1, 2, 3, 2. So that's why that I'm coming to be teaching for my children. A, B, C, D.
Thomas tries his best, but his grasp of the English language and teaching methodology raises concerns. The school has only 3 classrooms, forcing 2 different classes to share a single space. Teachers struggle to maintain focus and discipline while handling multiple levels at once.
The teachers too, we are a lot of teachers. The whole school from KG1 to P6, we are only 2 teachers. Imagine, if you compare with me, the KG2 to P6, 2 teachers taking from KG2 to P6 is a burden.
For pupils in kindergarten, their classroom is nothing more than a fenced area with blocks intended for construction now serving as furniture. These blocks were donated 5 years ago during the height of campaigning, but they were never used as promised.
The blocks, that was the MP, the current MP, the campaign time, the last election campaign time, that he came and molded the blocks there, that he wanted to build a classroom for the community or for the school. Then, after winning, he didn't come back again. So it's the MP who molded the blocks down and it's still lying down.
Be fair to us, Sabunjira people. Be fair to us, government. Be fair to us.
Well, still on education, the immediate past registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat has proposed ways the government can raise funds to cater for Ghanaian students abroad. The students who've been speaking to Joy News say some of their colleagues are facing extreme financial hardships due to prolonged delays in tuition and stipend payments, forcing them to engage in illegal activities and even sell their sperm to make ends meet. With no clear timeline for payment, they are struggling to afford necessities. Now, PhD student Ernestina Trema at the University of Northampton and Pius Apre, University of Kent, shared their experiences on the law with my colleague. Now, the immediate past registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat, Dr. Kingsley Ajiman, believes some taxes the current government wants to scrap can be used for such payments.
What I handed over is about 600 million Ghana cedis at the time I was living. If the dollar rate is about 15, then you can conveniently say that it's about $45 million, way less than what we came to inherit. The nature of the liability of the scholarship funding is a revolving one. You always have students or scholars whose term of study will not be coterminous with that of the physical year. So whereas the academic year usually starts in September, you have the physical year starting in January. So definitely you always have a gap. And so I appeal to the president that globalization is the way to go. He should have mercy on these students abroad. Maybe some of them are even his party close relatives of his. So I'm appealing to him that he should not abandon these students. We need to legislate And as part of the legislation, you need to have a statutory source of funding. So for instance, this government has the greatest opportunity to institute that. The COVID, which is an earmark task, can be rationalized into scholarships. The betting task, which they intend to scrap, percentage of it can come to fund scholarships.
Now, the former Ashanti Regional NDC Chairman, Yao Obimpe, has been elected as Council of State representative for the region. He polled 49 votes against Nana Nkansa-Bwedu Ayeboafo's 35 votes. Daniel Anafi Yamua came third with 1 vote as 1 delegate failed to show up for the election. Ashanti Regional Chairman of NDC, Augustus Andrews Nana Akwesi, spoke on behalf of the winner.
The God of John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency of the Republic of Ghana, has spoken. They asked for a neutral ground, we gave it to them. They asked for the old register, I gave it to them. Now, His Excellency has gotten somebody who can advise him. In the name of Yao Owusu Bimpe, he has helped the party a lot. He deserves to be the Council of State for Ashanti Region. I'll give thanks to all the members who voted for him. We know that we have a long way to go. Ashanti Region must be united once again.
Let's head to the Upper West region next. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has assured health workers, particularly those involved in the fight against meningitis, of the government's commitment to help them fight the disease. The Upper West region has so far recorded 129 suspected cases of the disease, with 16 deaths. Now, describing the surge in the cases of meningitis in the region as an attack by the enemy, he tasked health workers in the region and the sector to help combat the disease. Rafiq Salam report from Wa.
Speaking shortly before he donated logistics for meningitis case management, valued at over 300,000 Ghana cedis, Speaker of Parliament Alban Sumana Kinsport Babin commended medical personnel in the region for their immense contribution to combat the surge in cases of cerebrospinal meningitis, CSM, in the region.
There's none of us who is dozing off or sleeping. It is something that we believe we should start working to do away with forever.
Alban Sumana Kinsport Babin assured medical personnel in the region of their commitment to working to support them to help fight the deadly disease.
I'm happy that you've made this difference and that you'll be able to contain it so far. We hope that it will stay that way and that there will be no deaths. But that is in the hands of the Almighty God. And I believe with what we've done, it will not only motivate you, but I think that it will also be a protection. Because please, if you are not protected, if you don't take care of your security, your watchman, he cannot take care of you.
The items donated included IV fluids, antibiotics such as ceftriaxone injection, and spinal needles for lumbar puncture. Upper West Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Damien Puwili, disclosed that the region has so far recorded 129 suspected cases of the disease, 22 confirmed cases with 16 deaths.
And so the health workers are doing their best to encourage early reporting. Those who reported early were treated successfully and discharged. And going forward, all who come in early, when you have not become unconscious, the chances are that with all this support coming, first from the Minister of Health, and now from the Right Honorable Speaker, we're going to ensure that people do not die.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Now, the Minister of State in Climate Change and Sustainability, Baba Isefu Seidu, has announced plans of creating a climate hub. The initiative, which is geared towards minimizing the impact of climate change, is in collaboration with stakeholders from the University of Ghana. Now, speaking on behalf of the Minister, Cedric Ijelu, member of the technical unit at the Office of the Minister, the Climate Hub is envisioned as a one-stop shop for coordinating climate-related activities.
The Minister announced in collaboration with the officers from the University of Ghana for a creation of a Climate Hub. So basically, the Climate Hub will become a space that will serve as a one-stop shop, to coordinate climate activities in terms of innovation, building the capacity of young people, driving innovation, mobilizing funds, and providing the technical support that is needed to drive climate change solutions, here in Ghana. And the Minister is desirous of expanding this, across the sub-region. Rightly so, because Ghana, as you do know, is leading the space in terms of climate leadership, by virtue of his mention by His Excellency the President as the first Minister of Climate Change. So it is our hope that through this collaborative research, we'll be able to operationalize this Climate Hub to serve its purpose for which the Minister announced.
You're still watching Joy News Prime. We'll have a lot more stories after this break. Please stay. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, Minister of Education and Member of Parliament for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to transforming public basic schools into modern educational facilities. A recent report by 10 civil society organizations, CSOs, including Star Ghana, Campaign for Female Education, CAMFED, and ActionAid, reveals that over 5,400 schools in the country still operate under trees, makeshift sheds, and deteriorating structures. Now, speaking at the launch of the Okaikwe South Public School Renovation and Upgrade Project, Haruna Idrisu said the current state of public schools is an indictment on the government.
To the best of his ability and capacity, his intervention to see an improved learning environment, and to assure him that evidence abounds that there is a strong relationship between good learning environment and good learning outcomes. So he got it very right. Yes. The second would have been an indictment on the state and government. And that indictment and state will be that why are public schools in dilapidated structures and in structures that are not good enough to support teaching and learning. But again, I accept it as a wake-up call. He is urging government and the state that when we promise free, which the free will mean investment in infrastructure, investment in textbooks and exercise books, investment in the quality of teachers. He assures me again that he will invest in motivating teachers in this particular area.
Now, Haruna Idrisu further added that to enhance collaboration and improve educational outcomes, the government has reintroduced parent-teacher associations, PTAs, as part of the management structure of public schools.
I am particularly happy to announce that PTAs will be introduced back into the management of education in Ghana under the presidency of Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to work for parents and teachers to work together to improve learning outcomes in our educational institutions, and for PTAs to support our educational institutions to produce quality human capital for our country.
Now, the Member of Parliament for Okaikwe South, Ernest Adomako, has launched a 79.5 million Ghana cedi initiative to renovate public schools in his constituency. Now, the initiative is aimed at enhancing educational infrastructure and improve teaching and learning conditions, among others. Speaking at the launch, Ernest Adomako emphasized that the initiative is aimed at building a brighter future for the constituency through improved education.
Event which brought together the Minister of Education, Haruna Iddrisu, Gamanche Kintaku Teku True II, and other chiefs marks a significant step towards enhancing teaching and learning conditions in the constituency. The first phase of the project will focus on redevelopment of bishop schools in Bubuashi. Addressing the audience, Member of Parliament for Kankwe constituency, Ernest Adomako, emphasized that the initiative is aimed at building a brighter future for the constituency through improved education.
This is designed to improve teaching and learning conditions for over 8,000 learners, 350 dedicated teachers across 20 schools in Okankwe South. We are not just fixing schools. We are building a brighter and prosperous future for the next generation of leaders, innovators, and change makers.
Gamanche Kintaki Teku True II urged pupils to take full advantage of the project once completed.
You are our next generation. Yeah. You are the future of this country. Yeah. That is why we are interested today in your welfare, in upgrading schools, not only in Okankwe South, but in the whole of the Greater Accra region and the whole of the country.
Education Minister Haruna Iddrisu assured constituents that the long-abandoned cables and wireless primary school would be completed within the year, along with the construction of the Bubuashi Public School.
Accordingly, the cable and wireless primary school, which began some work of construction under present GEA bills of blessed memory, will be completed this year. Additionally, the Bubuashi School will award a new contract of the state-of-art basic school to support the Bubuashi School as part of our support.
The 79.5 million Ghana cedis project, funded through the MP's personal resources and supported from Gamanche, when completed will include science and ICT laboratories, library and landscaping. Reporting for Joy News, Collins Frimpong.
Now, the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, Professor Ahmed Jenapor Abdullahi, has lamented the financial burden of the payment of teacher trainee allowances on the public coffers. He is suggesting a national conversation on this educational intervention to discuss its sustainability and other related factors. Professor Abdullahi was speaking at the 15th congregation of the Akachi College of Education. My colleague Fred Kwame Sari reports.
In 1963, the Akachi College of Education took off with 42 all-male students with 4 teaching staff. Over the years, the school has developed into a full-fledged tertiary institution offering 4 years Bachelor of Education degree programs in various disciplines. Addressing the 15th congregation, the principal, Dr. Felix Kwame Kumeju, proposed the equipping of technical colleges of education in a bid to promote technical and vocational training.
I acknowledge government efforts in retooling our technical and vocational schools across the country. However, rebooting our technical and vocational schools without considering the technical colleges of education who train technical teachers could be a gap in our effort to develop technical and vocational education.
The Pro-Vice Chancellor of Akenton Apia Menka University of Skills Training, Professor Isaac Boatin, entreated stakeholders to put together policies that would contribute to transforming technical and vocational education in Ghana.
Transforming technical education requires integrating cutting-edge technologies, adapting curricula to meet industrial needs, fostering a collaborative environment with industries, and ensuring equitable access to opportunities for all students.
The Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, Professor Ahmed Jinapo Abdullahi, suggested a sustainability conversation on the teacher training allowances and feeding grants.
There is an outstanding amount of 159,979,200 Ghana cedis for teacher training allowances for the 2023-2024 academic year yet to be paid. When you add the outstanding arrears of 2023-2024 academic year to the current academic year, we are looking at a whopping 380,113,600 Ghana cedis. Personally, I believe now is the time for us to have a sustainability conversation on this subject.
The occasion was also used to induct Dr. Felix Kwame Kumeju as the 13th principal of the Akachi College of Education. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Akachi.
Still on education, for years, children in CK Kope risked their lives crossing Volta Lake in shaky canoes just to get to school. Some made it, some did not. But today, their dangerous journey has come to an end, thanks to Star Oil, whose new school now stands as a shield between these children and the deadly waters. My colleague Ivy Setoji has more in the following report.
The reform aims to address the long-standing issues of pre-mixed fuel shortages and corruption, ensuring that fisher folk can operate without interference from middlemen.
We have abolished and revoking the appointments of regional, district, and zonal premix coordinators. Nothing like that will exist from henceforth. We are recomposing the landing beach committees.
The newly constructed primary school in Sikekope addresses a critical need as children previously risked their lives crossing the Volta Lake daily to access education. The project, costing nearly 2 million Ghana cedis, includes modern facilities such as separate washrooms, staff rooms, and a headmaster's office. Philip Tieku is the CEO of Star Oil.
Today is truly a special day, and I'm honored to stand before you as we officially hand over this brand new school block to the community of CK Kope. This project is more than just a school. It is a testament to Star Oil's unwavering commitment to improving lives and giving back to the very communities that have shaped our journey. For far too long, the children of CK Kope have faced the daily danger of crossing this mighty Volta Lake. This hazardous journey has put countless young lives at risk. That is why Star Oil took upon itself to build these schools.
The board chairman of Star Oil, Togbi Honameto I, known in private life as Mr. Vincent Kalenji, in an interview with the media, spoke on the urgent need to give back to the society.
It was 2 years ago when we were struggling to make a shade for these students here. And God has been so good, from the shade to this gargantuan building. We know the importance of education. That is why we started from the shade to this level we have reached here. Now,
well, it's time for showbiz, and Becky is already here, smiling.
Hello to you. How you doing?
I'm okay. It's a new week.
Yes, and I had a fantastic weekend, and so I'm bringing you everything that had happened at the weekend to you here on Joy News on your multi-TV channel. Do we even say that? Well, I'm not sure. But let's talk about Awake Experience, because it happened, the 11th edition of Awake Experience with Diana Hamilton happened at the weekend, and the event saw wonderful ministrations from gospel ministers with fans wanting for more. Nicholas Ekoyama was there and has come through with this report.
Accra was brought to a standstill at the 11th edition of the Awake Experience with Diana Hamilton. Fans of gospel music came from far and near to experience a night of worship and praise, and also an atmosphere filled with the presence of God at the ICGC Christ Temple East. The 11th edition themed Moved saw spirit-filled ministrations from Kwekute, Kofi Owusu Pepra, Pastor Joe Bichem, Team Eternity, and Ruth AJ. Now, the woman of the moment, Diana Hamilton, mounted the stage with a brass band ushering her in and gave patrons a memorable experience. Patrons were blown away by the ministrations and said their expectations were met.
We've had an awesome time in the presence of God. The atmosphere is charged with God's presence, and as you can see, we are worshiping and praising God, and it's a good quality time spent in the house of God.
It's been a blessing. I mean, I'm honestly short of words, but I feel very blessed to be here today.
Well, so far it has been very interesting. It has been full of worship, full of praise, and it's very spiritual.
I came with an expectation, and as I'm leaving here, I'm praying to God that whatever thing I came here to do, the Lord should use this event to bless me as well.
Diana Hamilton says she is excited for pulling the 11th edition of the Awake Experience off, and fans should expect more from Kumasi and Sunyani edition.
This is my happiest. I always say that my happiest moments are when I am getting off the stage. And so I'm there now. You're in Kumasi or you're in Sunyani and you've seen this, you know that it gets better and better by the city.
The next stop for the 11th edition of the Awake Experience is Kumasi on 23rd February 2025 at the Bantama Church of Pentecost, and Sunyani on 2nd March 2025 at the Uzbek Hotel Auditorium. Nicholas Ekoyama's report for Joy News.
Here, okay. Let's go to Kumasi and talk about the Valentine's night as Love FM and Inshira FM, in collaboration with Musically Yours, put together an unforgettable evening of music and romance dubbed Val's Night with the Stars. The event held at Rich Condos showcased some of the finest talents in the Ghanaian music scene with performances from Ofori-Atta YP, Efia, and Sarkodie.
As love filled the air, the audience was treated to a variety of music, each artist bringing their unique flair to the stage. The night started with Ofori-Atta, renowned for his legendary high-life melodies, captivating the crowd with classic old-school hits that had everyone singing along. YP energized the audience with his infectious Asaka rhythm and engaging stage presence, ensuring that everyone was entertained and sang along the fast-paced lyrics. The night truly sparkled with performances from Efia and Sarkodie. Efia's mom, Nanajwa Awindo, was there to support her daughter's performance.
Definitely, you know I'm always there 24/7. Yeah.
Should we expect from her
The best. I mean, you know, Efia is gifted. She has a natural talent, and she comes from Kumasi, you know. She's from a Doomstool house. She's a royal, and if she's in Kumasi, she has to give her people the best. So she's here to do just that.
Efia herself, known for her powerful vocals, stagecraft, and energy, delivered a stunning set that left the crowd in true awe and got everyone on their feet.
Oh, like a sister, yeah, 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 yeah. Like a brother, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a sister, yeah, 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 yeah. Please, 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 yeah.
Sarkodie, the rap maestro, brought his signature energy and lyrical prowess to the stage, culminating in an explosive performance that had fans cheering and dancing their hearts out throughout. In an exclusive interview with the stars, they expressed their excitement and gratitude for being part of such a memorable event.
As I expected, I just like Jada for tonight, and you know, we killed it. And today is a Valentine's Day. A happy Valentine to all Ghanaians. I love you so much.
I feel really good about it, and the fact that I'm doing it in my hometown, I'm very, very excited about it. I'm glad that everybody had a great time.
You know, it was crazy. It was crazy. As usual, that's how we do it. So, crazy. I am mad. As usual, Kumasi, so media. Shouts to them. Shouts to everyone who came.
The audience also shared their thoughts on the show, highlighting the celebration that filled the venue.
We are all happy to see Sarkodie and Queen Efia. Everybody, I'm so happy this marathon.
Let me tell you, I've been 11 years in Kumasi. This is the best night in my life. I'm telling you, it's lit. It's like heaven.
I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm enjoying food. Everything's okay here.
We just drew the curtains for Val's Night with the Stars. We had electrifying performances from our artists, Sarkodie, Efia, YP, and Ofori-Atta. As you heard from people that attended the event, they are all excited. People of Kumasi are excited and can't wait to experience another entertaining event like this in Kumasi. Reporting for Joy News, my name is Arabna Akwe.
Oh.
That beautiful report.
Yeah, but I like the way Efia actually rattles the English language.
I love it. Efia is well traveled, and so if she says that she's very excited about everything that had happened, we're also very excited that we could have you here this evening. Oh, you could have us here this evening. Please log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where you find all the news.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You've been doing the news the whole time. You want to say thank you to the viewers.
Watching Prime Business is actually
up next. We're grateful. Thank you. Bye-bye.